Welcome to another shave here in the Soap Thing Project. Today's shave I have for you from Ariana and Evans and the Razor Company. This is Tobacco Oud. This was a Black Friday exclusive. This is 2 ounces of Ultima soap base from Ariana and Evans. The Ultima soap base is, at heart, it's a tallow soap base, but there are an insane amount of ingredients in it that are supposed to make it a pretty gnarly shaving experience. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, this was a Black Friday release. It was available Black Friday only, and it's 2 ounces of soap. I think I paid $11.99 for it. We can chew over whether or not that's a good price, but it was only available for 1 day, and I am all about buying these smaller tubs with less soap in it. Wow, good stuff. Yeah. Love the scent on this. We'll talk about it. Tobacco Oud is inspired by Tom Ford Tobacco Oud, which is a discontinued private blend fragrance from Tom Ford. We'll talk about exactly what the scent means. The aftershave is going to be my Aramis Aftershave Balm. Looks exactly like this. I'm trying to use this up as much as possible because I'm not trying to take it back to the States with me next spring. So hopefully I can slather it around enough that I can get rid of it. The razor is going to be my Schick Type M, which I normally clean these up before I show them to the camera, but this one is in the condition that it was last time I used it, so shame on me. Schick Type M adjustable injector razor, and it currently has a Ted Pella blade in it, which I don't have the case that they come in. Let me see here. They look exactly like this. So those are Ted Pella blades. And the blade in this razor is, oh boy, I lost count how many shaves are on this. I think like 9 at this point on a single blade. I'm going to be doing this for a while. Like I said that I was going to be using injector razors until I got rid of all my injector blades. Yeah, turns out that's going to take a minute. So it is what it is. So we're going to be using injector blades and injector razors like crazy for the foreseeable future. That's the razor and the brush. My brush has been sitting face down in water. This is an interrogation technique I use whenever I'm trying to get answers out of my shave brush. I shove it into some water and give it time to think about its life choices. So that is how you figure out all the sensitive information that your brush has to offer. It's a QED Select 4422 22mm Manchurian Silvertip, and I think it's going to perform nicely today. Okay, let's do a shave. All right, folks, we have on this beautiful face about 36 hours growth. So the typical growth pattern you've come to expect on the Soap Thing project. And let's take the Ariana and Evans Tobacco Oud and smell it. It's inside of the Pereira Shavery bowl. This one is in typical A&E fashion. This is a pretty strong 4 out of 5 on the sniffometer. Okay, let's put it on. Now the Ultima base is fairly new. I think this is a new tallow base, and then they have a VR2 vegan base, which is also fairly new. So we have Peter Charkalis getting bored and seeming to think that the answer to his boredom is to make new soap bases. We'll talk about that later in the shave. In the meantime, let's talk about what this soap smells like. Okay. Now, a Schick Type M with a Ted Pella blade on it that has at least 8, probably 9, or even possibly 10 shaves on it. It's on setting 2-ish. Here we go. Let's see how it's doing. Still perfectly fine. Yeah, it's still going. It's going to be a long 2024 with these Schick razors, if that's how it's going to go. Alright, let's talk about the scent of this soap. I have to lean... Actually, I'm just going to grab it and look at it because it's really small. So for the scent notes, whiskey, coriander, tobacco, oud, sandalwood, patchouli, benzoin, vanilla, and cedar. So back when Tom Ford Tobacco Oud was on the market, it was quite an edgy and rather daring sort of scent. It had the tobacco had this ashiness to it. It was kind of a film noir sort of scent, if that's how you can describe it. Like it smells like something Dick Tracy would wear. You know, it's really kind of it's slightly dirty from this oddly ashy sort of tobacco, and then you've got some notes that are funky just on their own, like coriander and patchouli, giving it this sort of spicy funk to it. But once you get past that, it turns into a fairly predictable, slightly sweet, rich, resinous, and dark woody scent. The tobacco and the tobacco oud and the benzoin particularly are giving it this kind of resinous sweetness. Then there's woodiness from some of the oud, and then you've got sandalwood, which is kind of rich and creamy smelling to begin with, and then cedar, which is a dirtier type of woody note. That's also, I think, contributing to the kind of, I guess, edginess of this fragrance is the best way I can put it. Overall, though, if you are into masculine fragrances, this is sort of peeking into old school fragrances. I mean, the fragrance itself is not that old. It came out in the mid-2000s, as far as I can tell, the actual scent of this. So therefore, it is and was a kind of scent that was a little bit of a throwback to when scents were more daring, in my personal opinion. Now, by historic standards, it's not that crazy. Like, it's not an Aramis type scent. It doesn't get quite to that level of old-timey. But it's in the adjacent neighborhood, if that makes any sense. Oh. Well, there's a nick right there, because of course there is. I thought I was doing good down there too. That's a weird one. I must have hacked off ingrown hair or some kind of a bump down there. I've heard that you can strop these Schick blades and it'll kind of make them last longer. That's craziness. If even half of that is true, that's craziness. Because these already last practically forever with the way I'm using them. The soap base is... we'll talk about the soap base in a minute. Ooh, there's one right there. I don't know. Because I'm like no pressure on the face right now, so... I'm still not foolish enough not to blame it on operator error, so it could be that. Could be time to replace the blade, possibly. But I've had some rough off-camera shaves, so I could have cuts and bumps that are trying to heal from off-camera shaves that I hacked open too, so I don't know. Hard to know what to blame that one on. My neck is always the one where it takes a lot of buffing to get anything done. Okay, let's see how I did. Oh, there's that one and that one, but I think other than that, I'm going to call it a good shave. Let's do the Aramis Aftershave Balm, and then we'll talk about the soap. There we go. Try not to get too much of it this time. Oh, here we go. All right, good stuff. Now, my final thoughts on Ariana and Evan's Tobacco Oud. Obviously this is not available, and who knows if it will ever be available again, but it's a good scent. I think the scent is really good. You got to be in the mood for masculine scents. So if you're somebody who's sensitive to that sort of thing, then do approach with caution for any scent remotely like this. But as far as like the Ultima soap base, I don't know, I have my own thoughts on where soap bases are going and where they ought to be going. Let me put it to you this way. Have you ever heard the phrase, when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? I think that's exactly what this represents. I think A&E is just one example of a variety of artisans who stubbornly refuse to accept that they have hit an indestructible ceiling and that they need to take their innovation elsewhere. Because I got to tell you, this to me, I had an open mind, but this to me doesn't feel any better at all than like K2E. I'm not even sure that this is better than Kaizen 1. So it leaves you scratching your head like why are we still doing this in 2023 when there's so many good soap bases already? There are better places to spend your time than keep going in circles designing new soap bases that are a change just for the sake of itself. That's just how I feel about it. I think the Ultima soap base is a waste of time, in my personal opinion. The scent is good. Hopefully it comes out in a regular release for Ariana and Evans. That'd be cool. So hopefully there's that. But in any case, that's my final thoughts on the Ultima Soap Base, and Ariana and Evan's Tobacco Oud. Questions, comments, put them in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, until next time, this is Soap Thing telling you, shave like you mean it. Thanks for watching.